Hey, Uriel came here from Eating for Energy. We're on another great Raw Food 101 lesson. I'm just chilling out here in my kitchen. Obviously all the videos are shot here. This is relative to chill. So today we're going to be speaking of kitchens. Today we're going to be talking about calcium. And it's another great question people have when I tell them, about the benefits of eating more of a raw vegan diet. They say, well, where do I get my calcium from? Well, I heard this vegetarian or this vegan has low bone, mineralization, all this nonsense. And sometimes it's funny. I just kind of sit there and listen and put a smile on my face. But so I don't mean to offend anyone. I'm just, when you kind of know things, you tend to kind of sit back and just, bite your tongue sometimes. So anyways, we'll be talking about calcium with raw foods and vegan, vegetarian foods in general, as opposed to drinking milk and eating dairy products. So first off, let's look at calcium. Obviously is pretty much 99% of the calcium is stored in our bones and teeth. That's the storage basin for calcium in our body. Calcium is also used for muscular contraction, which a lot of people don't realize. But also another important concept to remember is that calcium is an alkalizing mineral. And we're going to be talking about the importance of this in just a few moments. So it's an alkalizing mineral in the body, and it's used to alkalize fluids in the blood. So let's look at, for instance, so we drink cow's milk, right? Cow's milk supposedly has a lot of calcium. And I'm not going to get into a whole kind of the propaganda stuff and the conspiracy theories, because I'm not going to go that way, but basically the National Dairy Council and the milk industry have a lot of push, have a lot of money, and they promote milk to the young, to the old, to everyone in between, as a way of building strong bones and a strong body. So let's look at cows. Cows produce cow's milk, that's what we drink, or not me, but a lot of people drink cow's milk, and they drink it for a number of reasons. One of them is obviously calcium. But let me ask you this, what do cows eat? Let's say healthy cows, right? Cows out in the fields, grazing around, what do they eat? If you said grass, you're right. Remember when we talked about the elephant and the gorilla and the giraffe eating grass and being big, strong, healthy animals living a long time? Well, cows are the same way. Cows, beautiful animals. I just love watching them. They're just such beautiful animals. And they're eating grass. And they're not drinking milk. They're not, aside from being a baby calf, they're eating grass, and that's where their body is getting its nutrients from. And then we turn to cows and take their milk, and all of a sudden it's high in calcium. Well, is there a correlation? Why don't we just skip the cow, go right to the grass? The grass, the greens, as we talked about, huge amounts of protein, huge amounts of calcium. It's just a matter of eating enough of it. Right? And I'm not talking about truckloads, right? I'm just talking about a couple handfuls of greens every single day. It will make a huge, huge difference. So greens are your greatest source of calcium. And the same thing applies to bioavailable proteins coming from vegetarian sources. We're talking the same thing with calcium, bioavailable calcium. Calcium from cow's milk. Yes, cow's milk is fairly high in calcium. The problem, though, is that cow's milk is a beautiful liquid for cows, not humans. If you look at the breakdown, the mineral breakdown between, or the macronutrient breakdown, carbs, fats, proteins between cow's milk and breast milk, human breast milk, it's way off. We are way off where we're supposed to be with regards to cow's milk. Human breast milk tends to be higher in carbohydrates, a little bit higher in fat, and lower in protein. Cow's milk is the total opposite, very, very high in protein, lower in carbs, and a little bit higher in fat. And that's fine, because for a baby cow to become, let's say, a 1-ton animal, it needs that protein, right? It needs to be built up to that size. For human beings, we're maybe 150, 200 pounds, naturally? That's a big difference. So we don't need all that protein, and that's why it's tough for our body to really assimilate cow's milk. The other big thing is there's a huge imbalance of phosphorus to the phosphorus-calcium ratio in cow's milk is way off. Right? There's too much phosphorus in cow's milk. Phosphorus in the human stomach inhibits the body's ability to absorb calcium from the stomach. So even if you're getting a lot of calcium, you're getting even more phosphorus in the stomach from that cow's milk, which doesn't allow your body to absorb the calcium anyway. So you're wasting your money, and you're probably giving your body a substance that it's sensitive to. Wheat and dairy are the number 1 and 2 allergenic foods pretty much. Most people, some people talk about being lactose intolerant. I believe we are all lactose intolerant simply because we don't produce the enzyme lactase after the age of about 2 years old. Right? Our body's not meant to drink cow's milk. So let's get back to our initial question. Where do we get our calcium sources from on a raw vegan diet? Well, again, as I mentioned, anything green, right? There's a reason that's, I don't know if it's 40 or 50% of the planet is green. The trees, the plants, they're all green. Obviously, chlorophyll is the pigment that makes them so, but there are inherent benefits that animals are, obviously, the animals know, the animals are eating plants, there's a reason for that, right? Can we move to more of a plant-based diet? I believe if we do, we will tremendously improve our health. And it's not just me, it's science that shows that as well. So greens, anything, right? Green vegetables, we're talking the green leafies, the spinach, the kale, the Swiss chard, collards, parsley, coriander, anything green is going to have a tremendous amount of calcium in it. Another great source of calcium is sesame seeds. Very, very high source of sesame seeds. So if you like hummus, or hummus as they call it. My dad's Moroccan, so I have the hummus side of the family. And so if you like hummus, chickpeas, tahini, right? Tahini is pretty much ground sesame seeds. Very, very, very high source of calcium. So simply by getting, again, a good variety of foods, lots of greens into your raw vegan diet, you're fine, you're laughing. And here's the biggest thing, here's the kicker, right? The research shows that it's not the calcium that's coming in. It's not a calcium supplement that's going to help you keep strong bones. It's your acid-base balance in your body, your acid-alkaline balance in your body, and your ability to stress your bones through exercise, stress your muscles. Every time you lift weight or do some type of weight-bearing exercise, you are telling your bones to get stronger, right? You are telling your bones, hey, we need some calcium, we need some minerals to build this bone to basically support what we're doing. If you go into space, all of those minerals are lost because your body doesn't need them because you're floating around, there's no gravity, right? Use it or lose it. That's kind of the principle. So exercise is the best way of building strong bones, but also from a dietary perspective, making sure you have an alkaline internal environment is going to be very, very important, and actually more important than any calcium sources you're getting in. So we talked about calcium being an alkaline mineral, and it's a buffering mineral in the body, because if your body is too acidic, if you're drinking too much milk, if you're taking in too many dairy products, if you're eating a lot of animal protein, a lot of refined sugars, a lot of grains, all those things are acid-forming foods. If you bring that into your body slightly becomes more acidic. Your blood becomes more acidic. It doesn't want to be acidic. It wants to be slightly alkaline. What happens? The body, the blood, will specifically pull calcium from the bones and teeth to buffer out the acid in the blood to bring it back up to a more alkaline level. So it's a very, very important concept to remember, is that it's not the dietary calcium sources per se, but it's your overall diet and its effect on your internal acid-alkaline balance. If you're too acidic, you're going to have a higher risk of developing bone mineral loss and potentially osteoporosis down the road. So greens are the way to go. Greens are very high in alkalinity as well. You probably knew that. And there it is. So if you want all these great lessons, all the videos that I'm sharing with you, come back to eatingforenergy.ca/rawfood101. That's where all the free goodies are at. And you get all this stuff absolutely free. It's just my way of trying to encourage you to incorporate more raw foods, more healthy foods into your life. I'm Uriel King, and I'll see you in the next lesson.